So what's the point of meditation, or mindfulness, whichever one you want to call it? I mean, mindfulness, unfortunately, has about as much clout as an executive stress ball. It sounds like something to do with gong baths, yoga, lots of fluffy navel-gazing bollocks. But mindfulness, historically, develops a set of attention skills, the big three that I'll be banging on about a lot in my courses and on this channel. Concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. So what do those things mean, the CC&E? Well, concentration is kind of obvious. It's, the choice to focus on what you want to focus on. Almost like an anti-ADHD ability. If this could be in a bottle, that would make me a billionaire. Concentration followed by sensory clarity. Well, that's being really, really, really aware of what's going on, like, as it's happening. So sometimes people compare this stuff to, like, CBT, not to be confused with compulsory basic training, but the cognitive behavioural therapy version. And yeah, I mean, CBT is decent for a lot of people. I'm not a huge fan. If you've ever been through that kind of therapy, it's very reflective. It's like, well, I felt like this that day, and I behaved like this, therefore I will now no longer be angry. Not to disparage it or anything, but I'd say what mindfulness does, or what modern mindfulness does, is it's reactive rather than reflective. You're carrying it out moment by moment, as you're doing things, and you increase that space of time between perception and reaction. You kind of live in bullet time without trying to be too dramatic. So yeah, sensory clarity is pretty cool. It makes food taste better. It makes light brighter, colours sharper. It makes you more loving and attentive. It makes you a cool person to be around for the most part. And the final skill then is equanimity. Learning not to give a toss, or officially, the definition would be not being pulled in one direction or another. And a lot of us are kind of living on this roller coaster where there's lots of ups, there's lots of downs, we're grasping for a lot of things, we're trying to avoid a lot of things. And obviously you can't avoid being like that entirely. That's being alive. That's how you find food and shelter and avoid tigers and whatever. But equanimity allows you to enjoy stuff without feeling like it's a drug where it's all the way up, all the way down. It gives you a lot of balance. It can sound a little bit like nihilism, but it's not to be confused. There is some good fun in equanimity, as dull as it sounds. So those are the attention skills that I would say are the benefit of meditating: concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. And you might be listening to this thinking, okay, cool, so you meditate and you get these superpowers, you're super focused and all that, whatever. But who has time to sit cross-legged on a beanbag, saying Om, doing the finger thing? Well, do you know what? You don't have to. And that's where I use the word mindfulness over meditation, because yes, formal practice is a thing and it's very powerful, but a big benefit to the system I use and the system I teach on this channel is practice in daily life. It's that continuation of mindfulness off the cushion while you're stuck in traffic, while you're riding, while you're getting frustrated at people cutting you off or going over the lines. It's this ability to never waste time ever again. And, some other objections you hear a lot, or that I hear a lot, are the famous favourite, oh, well, I'd love to try meditating, but I just can't clear my mind. Well, is it this close into the YouTube video enough? Can I swear? But, if we could just clear our mind, well, yeah, we'd all be a supreme being of divine light or whatever, or in a coma. So, no, you don't have to clear your mind. Mindfulness is just about being aware of what there is, the observation of reality. It's not necessarily visualizing a sunny beach or emptying the mind. It's seeing what comes up. You're blithering away in your mind, you're having an argument, you're winning an argument 2 hours later in the shower. It's noticing that you're doing that. You might be visualizing a lot, you might be seeing in while your eyes are closed, you might be picturing things a lot. And then it's being mindful of how do you picture things? Where does that come up on your, your sensory experience? Is it like behind your eyelids, or do you feel like it's inside your forehead? Where is it that you see in as opposed to where you see out in your eyeballs? All this stuff is like an inch wide and a mile deep. A technique like See Hear Feel, which comes up in another video, is so simple, but you could do it to the end of your days. And even little bursts, like a sandwich between a difficult phone call or something, a little bit of mindfulness practice before, a little bit of mindfulness practice afterwards, can make so many difficult things so much easier incredibly quickly. So if you want to know about any more specific benefits about how it can help you, if you have any questions about what the hell I'm talking about, if any of this made sense or any of this didn't make sense, please ask your questions in the comments below and I'll keep on ploughing out these vids.